lot of talk going on these days about who is the greatest ever, about who has the titles, the raw talent, the most clutch moments. I get it. It's a tough call. I mean, even the jersey numbers are the same. But maybe the best way to settle this debate is to play it out head to head. I'll watch that.
This is a Heat Rocks production.
Now, before we get into it, make sure you like and subscribe, as it helps out the channel. What's up, everybody? Your boy Pat, back again with another edition of Second Take, where I talk tech and I speak sports. Today's topic of the day is, who is the GOAT? Is it LeBron James or is it Michael Jordan? In this video, I'm going to compare these two players in a series of categories to determine who is the GOAT. These 5 categories are stats, championships and accomplishments, clutchness, eye tests, and longevity. So let's tackle stats first. So the stats I want to show here are points per game, assists per game, rebounds per game, steals per game, blocks per game, turnovers per game, field goal percentage per game, and finally free throw percentage per game. So all in all, Michael Jordan leads LeBron James in 4 of these categories, while LeBron leads Jordan in 2, and they are tied in blocks per game. Now let's dig deeper into some of these stats. Let's break down blocks further, as I feel most people may believe LeBron is a better blocker based on the recency bias. So Michael Jordan in his career has 2 seasons of 100 blocks compared to LeBron, who has no seasons of 100 blocks or more in his. Jordan ranks 2nd among guards in this category, and LeBron only ranks 4th among small forwards in the same category. The second stat I want to dig deeper into is rebounds. Remember, Jordan is a 2 guard and LeBron is a small forward. But Jordan actually has out-rebounded LeBron when it comes to offensive rebounds, with 1.6 per game to LeBron's 1.2 per game. He's also had 10 seasons of 100 offensive rebounds compared to LeBron's 4 as well. In addition, he's had 9 seasons of 150 offensive rebounds to LeBron only doing it in 3 of his seasons. Let's continue looking at stats and talk about where these 2 guys take their shots from. As you can see, LeBron James takes a lot more of his shots very close to the rim. In fact, LeBron James takes 36% of his shots from 0 to 3 feet, while Jordan only takes 17% of his shots from that same distance. I feel this is really based off of how defenses are allowed and not allowed to play defense in the NBA today versus when Jordan was playing, because the lack of a center being able to man the paint allows LeBron to get closer to the basket and literally lay up the ball or dunk it more than a third of the time when taking a shot. Looking further, from a 4 to 10 foot, LeBron takes 12% of his shots from that distance, while Jordan takes 9%. Anywhere from 11 feet to 16 feet, LeBron takes 10% of his shots from that range, while Jordan essentially lived in the mid-range during his career. He took 30% of his field goal attempts within this range. And then finally, anywhere 17 feet or more, Jordan has taken 35% of his shots from that range, while LeBron has taken 20% of his shots from that range. So as you can see, LeBron James takes a lot more of his shots very close to the basket, while Jordan essentially took a lot deeper shots in his career. More than half, almost 2/3 of his shots were 11 feet or more. So just summing it up, I would say that Michael Jordan actually took a lot tougher shots, where LeBron in his career has gotten a lot easier shots, essentially dunking or laying up the basketball. In closing, I would say Michael Jordan has the advantage when it comes to statistics. Now, let's take a look at championships and accolades. So everybody knows Michael Jordan went to the finals 6 times and he won it all 6 times that he's gotten there. Whereas LeBron James is now 4-6 in his career when he gets to the championship game. But I want to provide a little bit more detail on how these two guys get to the finals and what they do when they are in the finals with respect to the teams that they've been able to face and what the level of competition has been. So with respect to the NBA Finals, LeBron James has faced teams who have averaged 59.8 wins when he's reached the finals. Whereas Michael Jordan has faced teams who have averaged 61.2 wins when he's reached the finals. Furthermore, 4 of the 6 teams that Jordan has faced have had 60 wins or more, whereas LeBron James has faced 4 teams as well who have had 60 wins, but that has occurred over 10 seasons. And 3 of those teams were the Golden State Warriors during their stacked team era. If we go a little further and take playoff teams into consideration and not just their finals opponent, many people would tell you that LeBron James faced tougher competition. But I'm going to break down the stats for you. So during the playoffs, Michael Jordan actually beat 3 60-win teams and 9 50-win teams en route to the finals, while only having to play 2 teams with losing records. And the average number of wins that he faced, as far as teams are concerned, was 54 wins per team. LeBron, on the other hand, has only had to beat 2 60-win teams and 9 50-win teams. So despite the 9 50-team wins being equal, remember, LeBron has done this over 10 years, while Jordan only did it in 6 years. LeBron has also had the luxury of beating 3 losing teams, while the average victories per team were only 50. Please keep in mind, when I did the averages of how many games a team won that LeBron or Jordan faced during the playoffs and or finals, I did not include the 2012 playoffs, as the season was only 66 games, and I did not include the 2020 season, in which the teams only played 73 games, as it would have hurt LeBron even more had I done so. So in closing, LeBron played in 10 playoff runs, which ended up with his team in the NBA Finals, while Jordan played in 6 under such circumstances, and yet Jordan played more 60-win teams, 50-win teams in the playoffs, and more 60-win teams in the finals. He also played less losing teams in the playoffs, and teams he faced averaged more victories than the teams that LeBron faced. When you go even further, LeBron has a 19-11 record versus 50-plus win teams in the playoffs, and Jordan has a 20-7 record when facing a team with 50 wins or more. When you talk about teams that won 60 games, LeBron is 3-4, while Jordan is 7-2. To touch on accolades, Michael Jordan has 5 MVPs to LeBron's 4, 6 Finals MVPs to LeBron's 4, 1 Defensive Player of the Year to LeBron's none, 10 points per game titles to LeBron's 1. LeBron leads in the assist title 1-0. Jordan leads in the steals titles 3-0. All NBA teams, LeBron has 16 in 17 years. Michael Jordan has 11 in 15 years. All defense teams, Jordan has 9. And all defense teams, LeBron has 6. By my count, Jordan leads in those categories 6-2. In closing, when you talk about championships and accolades, I would have to give the edge to Michael Jordan. Our third category is clutchness. Let's take a look at this chart. As you can see, whether we talk about less than 24 seconds on the clock, less than 10 seconds on the clock, or less than 5 seconds on the clock, Jordan sweeps on the clutchness factor. please keep in mind, these shooting stats with respect to clutchness are for the playoffs. And cranking it up another notch, if you look at the last 24 seconds of the NBA Finals, LeBron James is 0 for 7, while Michael Jordan is 4 for 8. So I think it's clear that when it comes to being clutch or having a killer instinct, Michael Jordan wins this category as well. Our fourth category is longevity. LeBron James has played in 17 NBA seasons. Yes, 17 straight NBA seasons, and has went deep into the playoffs numerous occasions. Most recently, he had a stretch where he went to the NBA Finals 8 times in a row out of his total 10. While Michael Jordan has only played 15 seasons and has retired twice, each time retiring after his three-peat. When it's all said and done, LeBron James will probably more than likely be the all-time leader in points scored and top 10 in assists. As far as longevity is concerned, LeBron James wins this category. Lastly, I want to talk about the eye test. As I have been fortunate to have seen Michael Jordan play his entire career, I have also been able to watch LeBron James continue his illustrious career. When I actually take a look at these two players, I see LeBron as more robotic and more calculated, whereas I see Michael Jordan more fluid and more graceful on the basketball court. And while arguments can be made on who is the better offensive player, there is no doubt that when looking at the two players, Michael Jordan is the far superior defensive player. If you need further evidence of this, remember, Michael Jordan is the one player out of these two that has a Defensive Player of the Year award and has 9 all-defensive team selections in his 15 years versus 6 for LeBron in his 17 years. I would go even further and say that when I look at Michael Jordan play the game of basketball, there are 5 things that stand out to me that make him pass the eye test. They are his unguardable shot, which was his mid-post fadeaway jumper, his dominant defense as evidenced by his Defensive Player of the Year award, which we already discussed, his offensive prowess in which he won 10 NBA scoring titles, his killer instinct with respect to his clutchness in tight games. If you need further evidence, just Google the last 3 minutes of the 1998 NBA Finals to see how Jordan closed the game on the offensive side of the ball as well as on the defensive side of the ball. And last but not least, his excellent fundamentals, whether it was his perfect form when shooting a basketball as in elbow in and offhand held straight in the air, or his incredible footwork when operating inside of the post. So overall, when we talk about the eye test, I would have to give the edge to Michael Jordan. In closing, within those 5 categories that I spoke about in the beginning of this video, Michael Jordan takes it 4-1 over LeBron James. A quick recap on Michael Jordan. He has 6 NBA championships in 6 tries. He has 6 finals MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, and he has 3-peated on 2 different occasions. When it comes to deciding who is the GOAT of the NBA, I think it's clear to see that not only is Michael Jordan one of the greatest players of all time, he is the absolute greatest of all time. Shout out to everybody rocking with me on YouTube, Instagram, the Anchor app. You can also find me on Spotify as well as Apple and Google Podcasts. It's your boy Pat. Peace. Catch you in the next one.